welcome back to another edition of the Dirty Verdict Podcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm a full-time mediator and peacemaker, Peter Taft.
I am Kyle Herbert, full-time litigator, agitator, hater, later. What you got, Bill?
That was like 4 out of 10 on the Ric Flair. My name is Bill Ogden. I am a full-time litigator as well, and I'm just here to upset Pete as much as possible.
National Lawyer of the Year.
National Trial Lawyer of the Year.
2023. That's
I got another few months to claim.
last year.
I'm going to bring my trophy and set it next to me next
You
time.
need to do some new stuff.
A couple of things before we start. Ms. Ogden has advised me to say this. The opinions of Kyle Herbert and Bill Ogden do not represent the opinions of me.
I don't know
Or
about that.
probably
Or my
a normal human being.
That's one.
Pete sends us emails and says, say this one. We're like, wow, all right, Pete. Like,
Bro, that's
sure.
Peter, would you introduce our guest?
Yes, we have in the city of Houston, we have the Texas Hammer.
Yes.
We have the Texas Torch.
Yes.
We have multiple strong arms that are
Competing.
Apparently, there's like actually been litigation over that strong arm. I'm not sure what you guys are, but
Bill's the ferret weasel.
and
hey, we're survivors.
Kyle is the honey badger.
These are all people that don't give up.
Yeah,
Never give up.
but we today or tonight have a guest, and we have the Texas Hatchett.
Yes.
We've got Will Hatchett of the Roberts Law Firm.
Nice.
Thank you for joining us, Will.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You know, you just got to lean into the last name as hard as you can.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, I really would say that seriously. You've got to have a kind of an angle because there's a lot of glut in the personal injury lawyer
market.
Yeah, in the personal injury space, and there's a lot of like, what to do if you've been in a car wreck, which is the same.
We're the most aggressive, biggest verdicts. Everybody's got $1 billion in collection.
Yeah,
Everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing
But
it.
you know what everybody's not doing? Taking a hatchet to me.
yeah.
Cut them down.
Hatchet to the face.
Dude, you got to chop them up before you build them back up.
So we're going to use this interview with you for Bill and Kyle to give you some ideas about like what things to like cut with a hatchet.
Yeah.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, watermelon.
I heard we had like an example, like we're going to bring something out.
If you want to send, we
I thought they were going to get in a box and they were going to, I don't know.
We just had the district attorney for Harris County here, and so we had.
Yeah, we had to nix Kyle jumping out of the cake naked.
We have 6 or 7 cantaloupes and a samurai sword, which is not particular to you. We just have that on site.
And it's not an authentic samurai. It's from Amazon.
Yeah. But
It's dull.
But if you want to send some videos of you hatcheting things to our staff, we'll definitely.
If your dress is like a beefcake lumberjack,
Well, always.
which is like called a Wednesday.
Right now.
Before we get into it, Dirty Verdict Podcast powered by Amanda Orr and Orr Strategy Group, Josh Bellin, and Chaos Theory.digital. All your computer needs, like if you type on a computer.
if you have your Commodore 64 up, and you want the computers and the best cyber,
Did your DOS crash? Call Josh Bellin.
Like cheat codes on a video game.
Yeah.
He's got all that stuff for you.
left, right, A, B, 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 A.
Amanda will do all your PR if you want to get a verdict out, like someone that just got a $600,000 verdict, maybe wants to pub that a little bit or
You hear that? He's going to send you a check, Amanda. Kyle's going to send you a check. Finally.
We can't have you starving.
use them. And then obviously if you want to mediate, call me. You want to go kick some butt in trial, call Bill and Kyle or Will.
Yeah.
Okay, so Will,
Yeah.
you are, let's do a little backgrounder on you. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. So
Stockyards.
yeah, I mean that was I won't say it was as big of a deal as like everyone makes it now. But growing up there, it's great. My dad's a pipe salesman, like a broker really. So he works on both sides. So it's like someone's selling something, they call him. If someone's buying something, they call him. And my mom's a teacher. So, I think I grew up and never really wanted to be an attorney, but I'd learned things from those two people talking to folks every day that I think it's really shaped kind of like where I'm at today.
Was drill pipe your dad?
Yeah, downhole pipe, production pipe, anything that you need, it's just kind of a solo guy. does it.
He had his own little company, like as a broker.
It's just a little company as in him. Oh,
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Arlington Heights.
What's the mascot there?
I live fighting Yellow Jackets.
That's better than the deer.
Vicious.
I don't know. It's just
That's the premier public school in
what you get one of us around you. No good.
Dude, I'm still waiting on the murder hornets. During COVID, we were promised murder hornets. We never got them.
I think the newest school development in Cyprus or something will come up with it.
I hope so.
That would be pretty baller.
Yeah, murder horrors.
So where'd you go to college?
Yeah, well, that is a we might spend the whole podcast.
It's a loaded question. Did you go to college?
Yeah, did you go to college?
No, I stuck in. So no, I grew up playing baseball like quite a bit, and in my mind, I was going to be a professional baseball player, like probably everyone when they start playing.
Bill just played in his high school's alumni game.
Still got it.
Still walking around.
Still got it. I didn't last week. I was sore as I was bad. I was in a. I don't even know how you get soreness up here by your ribs. I didn't know there's muscles over there.
It's the quads that.
The quads and hammies were the tough ones.
Yeah, the quads is some new muscle. You're like, whoa, I didn't even realize.
And when you're dancing on the diamond like I was, I was dancing like an 18-year-old Puerto Rican out there. And I had soft hands, strong arm.
A couple doubles.
I went over two, but I made contact both times, which was better than most of our.
So looked good striking out.
Oh, I looked the best. But so they there was like 25 alumni that signed up.
Yeah.
So I was on the team. We had 2015 and earlier. So our starting pitcher was class of 94, and he was phenomenal. And the other team was post 2015. So it's like they had three guys that were drafted the last year. One of them was in his Yankees pinstripes. And
Did you bring in Pettit? Was Pettit?
I was going to say,
no, I couldn't get Andy there. He was too busy. He's living in Memorial now, so it's kind of a drive for him.
We were walk-up song "Glory Days" by Springsteen.
It was actually the same one that I had when I was in high school, which was the Deftones. "Shove It" was the name of the song. You haven't heard it? It's fantastic.
You don't want them to show it.
I did. I was that good.
Coolio. I would do Coolio. Pete's walk-up song was Alanis Morissette. I don't remember which song it was, but when he came out of the tunnel for like a tennis tournament, they would play that.
And I can see he's a big Natasha Bedingfield. He's got that look.
I don't know who Natasha Bedingfield is. I do know Alanis Morissette. I saw her at ACL. She was great. Got to recommend that.
Sorry, you were telling us about your baseball.
Baseball,
career.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean baseball career is such a short stint, but that led me to Angelo State University. Oh, cool. West Texas, and I walked on there, and had a good year and a half of mediocre play.
Yeah. What did you play?
Catcher. Yeah.
There you go, just like Bill.
What was your pop time?
Yeah, it was good.
I was a 181.
It was really good.
181 was my best pop time.
It was so good. I went to a D2 and then transferred to a JUCO. It was that.
Transfer to JUCO to do a year, so you get drafted.
State. I thought I was this.
That was the
Yes.
It was the Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah, so we ram them. Yes, so we ram them. But I had two shoulder surgeries in high school, so that kind of thwarted some plans.
On your throwing arm?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I should have, did not, ended up snapping my elbow.
But now you're good. Now I can't sleep on my right side. It's just like terrible.
He actually has a rugby. If you're not watching the show consistently, you don't know that Bill's actually has like a robot arm.
Yeah.
Like he's basically T2.
Shake his head.
I mean, sometimes he just jerks out.
He's like Luke Skywalker.
Look at it right now.
Yeah, it's weird.
This is the robot's favorite position.
He's more machine than man.
But,
Okay, so you went to JUCO from Angelo?
Yeah, so I went to Galveston Junior College, spent a time on the island, and then
You're an island boy.
I know. I
Like
went
those guys from Florida.
What years?
Oscar episode, and I was like, man, he's speaking to me.
Terrifying.
Then he touched Bill, and I was like,
Hey, if you want to touch my mouth,
I'm blushing.
I'll sign a waiver.
That's a rule we have now. No more mouth touching.
Yeah.
100%. So I was kind of on board, but until the waiver was signed, it was it's terrible.
And what years were you in Galveston?
That was probably 2009, 2010.
Nice.
Was that pre-Ike?
I think it's post.
Okay.
Post-Ike,
Still down there pre-Ike, and then we got washed out there and moved
So
up.
we had to play at the high school because of that.
Okay.
There was still
Tours?
Yeah. We lived in a house, and there was a water line in the house. And so we lived in a house of like 9 guys in this house right by the college. And it was just us in bunk beds, just playing baseball, but we didn't have a field. And the year before that, they played all away games because of that. And I mean, it was pretty crazy going into that.
Living in the house, though, it's super fun.
They have a water line. It was fun. Yeah, they had a water line in the house. It was crazy.
What do you mean they had a water line in the house?
From the flood, the hurricane
Like,
running.
you can see it on the wall.
Yeah, and there was just
I'm trying to imagine what that place smelled like.
guys.
Like 9 dudes living in a flooded out flop house.
I think that kind of outlived the flood smell.
It was a lot of mildew and drunk hair.
Right.
And so, how long in Galveston?
So I spent a year there,
Okay, then where?
and then my coach left, so I went to Wharton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wharton.
Yeah, I'm getting
Wharton County Junior College.
sure away.
I was just there this past weekend.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
If you're out there, go to Henzy's. Right.
Henzy's.
Barbecue.
Well, it used to be on the freeway, and then it burned down, and now that you have to go in town for the Hensies.
How do you know all these random facts about small towns?
Because that's where our family has a place down there. So we used to always stop in Hensies on the highway, and now we have to go into Wharton. But no, my great-great-grandfather was the county attorney of Wharton County, like in the 1900s.
Really?
And there's still a building there that has his name on. You remember those old buildings in towns? It would have the name of the guy that did it, and it's G.G. Kelly. Wow. I just drove by it last weekend to make sure.
What's your favorite place to eat in Normandy?
I don't know. I thought it was Norman G.
Could be.
No, sorry.
They changed it recently.
Yeah, they did. Well, I mean, it's French took over. No, I don't know. I have no idea. In Wharton, Hensy's is best barbecue.
It's up there.
There's a couple new, because
I don't remember any other place.
well, Wharton is now almost like a suburb of Houston. It's only an hour drive from town.
It's not bad.
So there's a couple kind of hip spots. We were in El Campo. And we saw the Bellamy Brothers at a place called the Greek Brothers Cafe. You would think you're in Austin. This place is cool. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Wharton and you're doing that, and
A
then
year there, and it just, the arms just hanging on.
Yeah.
Thread. And, I ended up, hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. So I ended up walking on at another Division II, which was against everything that I wanted to do. And I ended up in Southern Arkansas, and at Southern Arkansas University, and
what town is that in?
Magnolia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, beautiful, beautiful city, and the campus is like insane. It's awesome.
Did you ever go to El Dorado?
No.
That's a cool town because Murphy Oil is based there.
El Dorado, Texas?
Huh?
El Dorado.
No, in El Dorado, Arkansas.
Okay.
Murphy Oil is based there, and it's like they've spent all this money. It is a cool town. It's right. It's like 30 minutes away from Magnolia.
Yeah.
Bentonville's kind of like that.
Yeah. These are like small. These are Bentonville 25 years ago.
It was part of the quote unquote Bible Belt. So, on Friday, I'll limit it to Friday night, but you had to leave Magnolia, the county, to go get alcohol. So it was very Lubbock-esque, which ties me back to my next point. Is I graduated from Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up going out there. So it was a journeyman for sure. And
When you went to Tech, though, you were done with baseball.
done with baseball, absolutely done with baseball. Spent time trying to figure out what was going on. Did not know who I was. Did not know what was going on. Did not want to be an attorney. Did not, I was just there to try to figure out how to be a human being.
How old were you at that time?
Like that.
Trying to become a human being in Lubbock, that is rough.
No, it's beautiful, beautiful, because there's so many people that aren't human beings out there that you're like, okay, this is what I don't need to be like.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right. Seems like a lot of Patrick Mahomes.
You learn how to not be an alien by studying the aliens.
Right, there you go.
in their ship.
Yep.
Yeah, just don't be like them. But
It's a lot of probing.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about Lubbock as much. We've so focused on Waco so much that I feel like Lubbock hasn't gotten the full examination that it deserves.
I don't know if you want to look into it.
Yeah, that's the thing about
You
Lubbock.
can't look away once you do.
Yeah, I think it's Nietzsche that said sometimes when you stare out into the abyss stares back. And I think that's kind of Lubbock, right? Like,
Just is looking at you.
Socrates.
yeah, it's off the cliff.
Okay, so you end up back at Lubbock. How long were you there before you graduated?
So now my stellar resume academically provided me with 3 more years that I need to graduate.
You didn't get a lot of hours on those stints at like 8 schools.
They just didn't transfer.
Okay. Transfer.
A lot of hours, not a lot of points.
Right, you're right. somebody, well-versed undergraduate by that point. I graduated at 25.
Okay.
Did you take a course? And I'm not making fun of you because I did. Did you take a course called college math? Because I took a course called college math.
So
I did too.
my mom is a math teacher.
Straight up, I did.
Her expectation of my knowledge of math was probably greater than it should have been.
Wow.
So I didn't ever have to take college math, but I did take Texas history twice, which is embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
What grade math does your mom teach?
Oh, she does, now. So I think when she had me, she was doing high school math. But now she's graduated into doing like middle school to high school, but well versed enough to tutor me through college for sure. Like, I mean, the smartest person ever in math that I've ever met. But that's kind of what I was talking about. My dad is someone that is
But he sells pipe though.
yeah, and talking.
Oh, yeah, he might lay it.
He does for sure, twice at least, right? But
Phil just cracked his soul.
I grew up, with a salesman and a teacher. And I think by osmosis, I just kind of figured out, like, my business is talking to people. And I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea what that meant. But, going into Lubbock, I had to do a lot of math. I majored in wind engineering.
You have a degree in engineering?
Yeah.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Wind engineering?
Yeah, it blows really hard. So
Hey, sometimes it comes from that way. Sometimes it comes from that way.
I just kept telling him, turn off the fans. Whoa, big fans?
Yeah.
No.
What did you?
Are you these cancer-causing windmills?
Absolutely.
I think it's more aerospace.
There's a ton of out there.
So your mom is like some kind of woke teacher,
Absolutely.
and you're out there.
My dad's selling the pipe.
You're out there.
The windmill.
You're slinging. Like probably George Soros communist windmills that cause cancer and kill birds.
Yes.
Time out. You can't kill a bird. Birds aren't real. They're government drones.
Except for
drones.
American eagles, which you've probably eaten, you commie.
Right. Jury's still out on eagles.
Tastes like chicken.
They do taste delicious.
Does.
Okay, so what did you want to do in engineering? Like, what was your goal there?
That's a great question. It was kind of like, let's get through this. Like, let's stop going to college. And so,
Doctor.
That's a legit degree.
right, doctor with the undergraduate degree, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was fun. And then I moved to South Florida and worked for Next Area Energy and worked in the control room, controlling all these wind turbines. And it was fun. It was great. And I had finally figured out like what to do post playing baseball. And I think it's one day I just looked in the mirror and I was like,
Modern dance.
right. I just want to dance.
Yeah.
But you're in South Florida. That's not a.
I know the feeling.
What town in South Florida?
I was in Palm Beach, so I was right by Maryland.
You're West Palm?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah, for about 3 years.
It's like West Palm, Boca. They're all kind of just lined right up.
Ended up, it was like, man, it just it was hard to come back.
How'd you get that job?
That is, that's another hour of this, but I just had the balls enough to like go up to somebody at a career fair and say, here's my resume and here's what I can do for you. And I spent 2 summers climbing wind turbines. So I was up, 300 feet in the air and had all this, experience. And I was working with these guys that were, I would say they were in the oil field and they were so knowledgeable about mechanics, hydraulics, all sorts of stuff like that. And I felt so inadequate next to them, but also I felt like, what am I doing at 350 feet in the air?
Yeah, I got a harness on. What am I doing?
Yeah. Well, they're dropping a tool and they're like, yeah, it's fine. It'll just like dent the truck
Or kill somebody.
Well, now I'm like drilling at that situation, but it just wasn't for me. I figured out I was so scared of heights at that point, and that motivated me to go to law school.
Yeah, I think that was a wise choice.
Yeah,
man.
it's,
I don't think climbing towers 300 feet in the air sounds like
It was not part of the plan. It definitely helped get me here.
Yeah.
So you went to South Texas?
Yeah, so, I was in South Florida and kind of hit that point of like, I'm pushing buttons, doing a good job of what I'm doing, but, how am I helping anybody? I got the plaintiff's bug so bad.
How, like what, because you don't have any legal in your family?
Yeah, who inspires you to be a plaintiff's lawyer? Yeah. Tell us all about that.
Bill Ogden, I would probably say, my aunt is she's an attorney, but she's a professor now at Texas Tech. So she rose up to like partner at Thompson and Knight, but you know, practicing law wasn't really something that I think she loved. But you know, growing up, I had a lot of friends that played baseball with me, and their dads were attorneys. And so I think, you know, I've heard on this podcast before, there's sometimes men in your life that are outside of your family that provide inspiration to you that I think is super important. And I think you know, there's two guys, Rob Keffler and Matt Getz, who, you know, I saw as people that I wanted their family, I wanted their life, I wanted their career, but I didn't know what that was at 8 and 9 years old. As I got older, I was like, what do they do? And so they were attorneys. They were trial attorneys, and it seemed so unobtainable to me to be that person. That's kind of the journey, you know, through baseball, undergrad, junior college, all these things that I finally realized at like 25, 26, 27, it took me a long time that like I can pursue this dream. I can pursue that path to become an attorney. And what that took was a phone call to those two guys. And those two guys were like, yeah, you can do it. Well, what you didn't know about me is I was an engineer and I went to law school at 30, and I would have never known that in my whole life. And so like, you know, those two guys probably pushed me to just take the chance on being an attorney. And that's where we're at. You know, that's how I got to where I got and made probably the decision to take the LSAT. And, you know, that I was working 12-hour shifts, you know, night shift, whatever, studying at night after 12-hour shift to take the LSAT to go to law school. And as you can imagine, my score was not super impressive. And so
You have a degree in wind engineering. What do you mean it wasn't impressive?
Yeah, well, I mean, like the LSAT's so different.
No, it is. The LSAT sucks. To me, that's the hardest part about law school.
Yeah, it just has nothing to do with it. It just has nothing to do with it. And so, you know, I take the LSAT and I'm just kind of toying with it. And I get into, you know, a couple law schools. Texas Tech waitlists me. U of H is begging me to go to their law school. And the day I apply, they deny me. And I'm like, they just got my, you know, application fee.
Catfished.
Yeah, I got so catfished by them. And, you know, South Texas accepted me like that. And I was driving back from South Florida, coming down I-10, and my family was moving me back, and they're like, why don't we just stop by and check it out? I was like, yeah, all right. I wasn't really happy that I had gotten into there. You know, it was just kind of like, I've never heard of it before. I don't know about you two, if you'd ever heard of South Texas. I know y'all are from around here, and you probably know, you know, some attorneys, but I did not know about it.
They just offered me money. I didn't know about it either.
I only knew about it from the Flax in a family I tutored for when I was in college.
Nobody would have been.
They had got
Yeah, Joe, you gone there?
Joe Flack had gone to South Texas, so I'd heard of it, but other than that, no.
Guy's name is Joe Flack.
Yep. I had Bible study with him this morning.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good friend of mine.
Told Joe I said hello.
Oh, well.
You do Bible study on Tuesdays?
Tuesday mornings.
Oh.
Full day for me. I go
You
with the Lord in the morning, and I end with y'all.
There's some symmetry to your life.
Hey, Mazel Tov.
Yeah. But no, I got into South Texas. I drove by, I took a visit, and it just felt home, you know, felt very homey to me. I didn't know what I wanted. I went to law school to be a sports agent. I really wanted to do that. And so I got into law school. I finally went. And, you know, one of the things that was said to me by Rob Keffler, and I talk to him to this day all the time.
And these are Fort Worth.
Fort Worth attorneys, you know, and I call Rob a lot just to bounce things off of him, but he probably provided me with the best advice ever. And he would tell me about first year, you know, 1L, all sorts of stuff, but he said the one thing that I still carry today. He said, Will, you know, be the same Will that you are going into 1L as you are coming out. Like,
Tough.
Change.
I did change.
Did you?
Oh, I was a complete asshole when I came out. I lost a ton of friends, and then I learned how to switch the assholeness off.
Well, I mean, I think it's normal to change, but I still always think back on that of, you know, it doesn't matter what case you're dealing with. It doesn't matter, you know, how much success you've had, all sorts of stuff. Like, be the same Will you are before you got into this process as after. And that's really something that I carry with me every day. But he told me something that was super crazy because, you know, through this, I've explained to everybody here, this massive journey to get to going to undergrad and getting through undergrad, going to law school, and then you're in law school with 22-year-olds who have it all figured out.
How old are you? 26?
27. Yeah, so I graduated at 30. And I mean, I was
How old are you right now?
34.
Okay. Yeah, you're significantly younger.
Than you?
Yeah, well, we had a run-in during his law school career, so.
Yeah. Well, that sounds terrible.
A good run-in or a bad run-in?
Well, I think I don't remember if I coached you or just coached around.
Just judging.
Yeah, I judged him as an advocate, and then he was a clerk in our office during law school and worked for us.
And you're a real
It was
odd judge.
No, I was the best. Oh, I'm a terrible. If you're a mock trial or a South Texas, I'm hard.
I think you're pretty in to coming this Saturday.
Yeah, I am.
See, so it's coming back.
If you're at South Texas and you're a varsity advocate and I come in, I expect perfection because we were expected to be perfect back then by Duco and Mike Seeley and like Chance McMillan was a hard ass to us. We were friends afterwards, but in that we're very hard on advocates that are there because especially if you're a 3L, school's not hard. You go there, and if you aren't very good at mock trials, because you're not working hard enough, because it's not hard.
And that's man. You saying that's like leading me into like what I plan on talking about. Is, my dad
Segue.
Always was. He does his own business, but he would get done with a deal and he'd be like, Will, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what that meant at the time. And as I've gotten older, it's just like it becomes more clear. Like Bill's saying, we go to the school that demands so much of you when you don't really know anything. And Bill came in and he, guest judges around when I think it was my first competition ever.
It was. And I was just as hard on them as I am with the seniors.
Yeah, and I was absolute shit. Like I didn't know what was going on. Like it was just absolute chaos on my part. Just drinking from a fire hose, ridiculous. But we're sitting here, fast forwarding, 5-6 years later, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I go through law school. I ended up so scared of doing mock trial, so scared of talking in front of people, getting to know Dean Treese, getting to know Sean Devine, getting to know all these people who, basically have helped me figure out a way to make a living. So, I owe everything to this school that I went to. And I remember I was having drinks with Chris Rothfelder. I'm sitting.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you where we're at, what we're doing. And the bar exam gets pushed because of COVID. And so I am sitting there and I'm like, dude, I can't pay rent right now. Like, I have saved money from these 3 years of working, but like I'm out. I'm done with that. I can't take any more loans. I can't do anything else. And Chris goes, let me text Bill because
he's rich.
Right, because he has so much money, he can give all of it to you.
Paint his fence.
Right, and so I did paint his fence.
It was a write-off.
Right.
Well, Hatchett was a write-off.
What he didn't tell you is how much PPP loans.
Yeah.
He needed your resume to kind of fluff his payroll.
Yeah, because if we got to 21, we got way more money.
That explains why he called me PPP for a long time.
Yeah. But you were clerking for the firm, right?
No,
Yeah.
so like
Not yet.
Chris Rothfelder texts Bill while we were having a drink, and he says, Will needs a job for like to pay rent. And I got a text from Bill, and he was like, you're hired. Like, show up Monday. And so that,
and then you showed up that Monday, and Bill was not even there.
And he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
No, so like it just kind of all tied into like it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and it's about our school. Our connection is so incredible. But like for him to just do that for me, because of what he saw one time, I become friends with him because of that. Mm-hmm. And I showed up at work expecting nothing, but just glad to be there. And it's just I can go into so many other avenues of like, if you expect to get something back of where you show up, it's not going to go well. Mm-hmm.
And the reason he got that nod is because there are, I don't know, maybe 2 handfuls of people in this city that if they say this person is a hard worker, if you can get into law school, pass the bar, and somebody says you're a hard worker, you can do what I do. There's no magicness to it.
Right.
And so Chris Rothfelder's one of them. Rothfelder Fallick is his firm, and they do a lot of billboard litigation. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it's extremely complicated and lucrative. But yeah, if he ever he's done it a few times. Hey, I got an advocate. They're a hard worker. They need a spot. I sight unseen. Bring them on.
He needs a job to pay his rent. You're like, oh, pretty motivated, I
He
think.
asked me how much my rent was, and then you got to pay it.
I'll pay you $1 less.
And I'll pay it directly to your landlord. Like,
Right. No, but it was like a testament to our school, what I had known, all that stuff. And it was, I think an act of kindness that like I won't forget for sure. Remember? So
It wasn't kindness. I just needed somebody to haze.
I filled out some plaintiff fact sheets for sure.
God, we finally settled that. So he ended.
ITC?
It was like in the worst of ITC. We're getting hundreds of calls a day, and he worked on it, and then ends up through the grapevine. Ultimately, have been Roberts, who's on the plaintiffs leadership committee with me in ITC, and he's doing probably some of the same work now that he did when he was with me.
But yeah, no, it's like now it's like coming full circle. It's like I'm texting Bill about the settlement, and
Or when you got your job.
yeah,
He's asked me a couple times, like, "Hey, I got looked at for here. I'm interviewing. What do you think?" And when he said Ben Roberts, I was like, "100% do it for sure."
So what do you do now?
Yeah, so now, I'm with Ben Roberts, and, again, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so I go to this freaking graduation at South Texas, and I'm sitting next to Ben. And I start talking to him about where I'm at. I have this trial coming up. I'm worried about it. Well, he's asking me, well, okay, I have my own firm. I want to have my own firm one day. If anyone is worth their salt, they have enough balls to say, hey, I want my own firm. I can do this by myself and all that stuff. And that's kind of where I was like, yeah.
not Bill.
Nope.
No, he does, yeah.
I inherited. I'm going to co-ride those tails until they're no longer there, and then I'll retire when they do. They'll be substantially wealthier.
That's smart. So I'm sitting next to Ben. I don't know Ben from anybody. And we're at South Texas graduation. And if you know anything about South Texas, you can only hood somebody if you graduated from there. And Ben was hooding somebody. I was hooding an advocate that I now coach. And we just started talking. And he was kind enough to just give me his phone number and talk to me about opening a small law firm or anything like that. And we went and had drinks or anything and just really explored kind of what I was looking for. And it ended up being a job. And like Bill was saying, Bill's been one of those people I can call, say, what do you think about this? Or I'm thinking about leaving, but I don't know, but if that makes sense, or, if I'm thinking out too far or whatever, and he suggested that 100%, it's been the best fit that I've ever had in law for sure. Working.
And he was at a firm who I'm close with as well.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And working for Ben has been the best thing. I think everyone here knows Ben intimately. It's
Not as intimate as I'd wish.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'd like it to be more intimate.
You'd like to hey, ...
Yeah, three Y's on the hay.
that was a little, set up for, there's going to be a plug there, but
He only lives like 3 or 4 blocks from me.
Yeah.
But not as intimate as I'd like.
well, knock on his door.
I have.
Is he still
Did you try knocking on his back door, Kyle? Did you try knocking on the back door?
He has a really nice pool back there, but
Well, so you've been to his back door.
I've been to.
You been at Ben's back door?
I've been to the front door, the back door, and I think I walked into the garage once. Yeah.
Was it your birthday?
Very healthy.
It was. I think it was one of his kids' birthdays, maybe, because they were having.
And it gets weird. And Kyle makes it weird with kids.
They're nice
How long
folks.
have you been with the Ben Roberts Law Firm?
Yeah, so I've been there probably a year and 4 months. It's
That's it.
yeah. See,
It feels like it forever.
We had Ben on the show.
No, he is
We
not.
should.
Ben is the nicest human on the planet.
Yeah.
So I think, if I had any advice to somebody probably in my position or younger than me, it's just, you don't know where you're going to end up, what job you're going to end up at. But if you can find somebody that emulates probably your beliefs in how to handle clients, how to treat people, how to go about business and their goals, that's what you need to look for. It might take a long time to get there, but I found that working with Ben. And
Good.
it's been, probably the best legal relationship I've had with somebody that, there's so much guidance there. There's not a tight leash. I get to do whatever I want. He just kind of tells me, here, do this, you should do that there. And I basically get to run my own little law firm and in a docket and do what I want and on his dime. And it's I make mistakes for sure. Everybody does. I'll be the first to tell you I'd screw up all the time. But he doesn't jump down my throat. He doesn't say, you should have done this, should have done that. Like, it's very...
Just don't do it twice.
Yeah, it's a conducive relationship of like...
We like to say find new ways to make mistakes.
Right. And I'm so creative.
I don't say that.
I'm so creative. But, he's been so... I've been at places where you get yelled at. You're at places where they're mad at you because you settled something for not enough money or something like that. Ben's main concern is the client, and our firm's main concern is the client. And I have no problem telling somebody, like, my first and foremost concern is your treatment, your health, it's absolutely trickles down from Ben, and so, that's I would not have landed there by accident. I think, we've talked all about how I got there.
You're welcome.
The longest route of all time, right? Like, it feels like a journey, but
You're like Van Wilder.
I wouldn't change it. But I didn't just stick. If I could stick around law school now, that'd be great. Deadlines, remove those things. Like, those suck. But, I ended up in the right place at the right time, and it's all about who you know, not what you know. And I've really kind of appreciated that with his firm.
We've, on the podcast, talked a little bit about, like, an environment where there's less yelling, Peter, less sort of corporal punishment, less disappointment, less judgment.
Take your woke parenting somewhere else.
We're getting there, though.
Yeah.
Someday.
So I think it's different for different types of people and different types of lawyers. I thrive on that, which I think is why Wes Ball and I worked so well together, because I always knew where I stood with him.
You thrive on negative reinforcement.
You like getting yelled at?
Yeah, every once in a while I need to get put back into gear and put back on track, and that's the most effective way to get it done the quickest. But yeah, I thrive on being in front of people where I know exactly where I stand at all times. If I do a good job, I'm going to know it. If I do a bad job, I'm definitely going to know it, and I think that's what I'm conducive to. But I also get these soft millennials, right? That are he's 2 years younger than me. And I also get the idea that I think with staff, I've come a long way. With not being
That's a hard.
what are we doing? I'm much more patient there. But when it comes to like my young lawyers, I'm pretty hard on them because.
Do you tell them?
see the
I'm like, I'm going to be hard on you because I think
100%. There's no blindsided with me or anybody at our firm. Like when you mess up, you will know it. But we're not mad because you messed up. We're mad because you didn't come to me with the solution to it, or you came to me too late and you tried to bail yourself out when you needed my help. That's when you get in trouble. But yeah, our only rule at our firm, we have 3 rules. I'm going to say 2 of them, but the other one is don't make the same mistake twice. Actually, I'll say them all. Don't make the same mistake twice. Don't ever lie to us. Don't ever take shit from defense counsel. In that order, and I've handed those rules down to all of our associates. We would have taken Will as soon as he graduated. He graduated at the worst possible time during the middle of COVID, and we weren't hiring. We just didn't have the business for it. And now we do.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my pitch.
So, Will, okay, now you're a lawyer. You've been out for 4 years. You had this great training at South Texas.
Right.
What do you do to hone your skills now that you're out in the field?
So, I mean, like, much like Bill that, gives back all the time, like, I coach a mock trial team. And I try to every semester. Sometimes it's like twice a semester. Sometimes it's none. But, I try my hardest to give back to that school that gave me everything. So, as much as those students are learning from me, like, I get to read the rules of evidence. I get to do all those things. And then, I mean, like the other night, someone was like, can you do an opening statement for us? And my initial thought was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm not here to be your dog and pony show. But I was like, you know what? Like, I need to give them I
know the categories. I know exactly how to do it.
I don't think, let me, like, tell me the topic right now. Like, I'll do it right now to show you that I'm not scared to do it. And I was scared 4 years ago when I graduated. Like, that's what that program provided me, is like I can stand up in front of someone and just talk about something if they need me to. But on their behalf, I can do that. And so that's how I give back to the school and really keep sharp on all that stuff, is just, reiterating to them. Like, I mean, I don't think they know this. They'll know this now through learning this. But, like, I'm learning as I'm teaching them. I'm staying sharp as I'm teaching them. Because, my main concern is them being sharp at the competition so they don't look like idiots. But in the meantime, they'll bring up something that I'm like, that's a really good objection. And then I'm writing it down like, shit, that's smart.
So what's your jam? Joe Green, Garrett Towns?
Oh, man.
Trees Courtroom, you have a favorite?
AO1's probably my favorite.
That's where I lived.
512 is good.
A01 is a tiny room with a bench, 2 tables for counsel, and a witness stand and a jury box of 6.
What are y'all talking about?
These are places where you practice.
You got to
Okay.
come.
If you want to treat, if one day you want to mature into a real trial lawyer, Pete, you got to come to South Texas College of Law, and I'll show you where all the blood, sweat, and
Been
tears.
to the Treese one because that looks like the Supreme Court.
That's actually it's the John O'Quinn
Okay.
courtroom,
And that is
but it's Treese's courtroom.
worst one to do a mock trial in. It's
Just acoustics aren't good.
No, it's built for moot court.
you know,
It's built for a panel.
sitting down trying to judge these students, and you know you're dealing with looking over everything. It's built for for moot court for sure, and it's a beautiful courtroom. But like the witness stand is somewhere you can't see them.
Moot court, there's a rivalry there.
Yeah.
Because moot court, you can go to practice and be done in 40 minutes.
In a closet.
Mock trial, you want to do a full practice, you can go 2.5, 3 hours,
At least.
and
You're going to go back-to-back, so I mean, you're going to be there.
4, 5, 6 hours. And then a moot court competition is 30 minutes aside. So you're done. You're done. In moot
Or you're just memorizing.
Yeah, but it's intense.
No, it's not. You know exactly what all the case law is, and you have there. It gives a judge a less chance of being subjective versus a mock trial.
I would say oral argument at the appeal level is intense.
Oh,
Because of-
in the real world?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would never do that. I'll shit on the students, but the real? No.
I hadn't really seen moot court, but I've been to plenty of appellate arguments, and I'm like, jeez, this is like.
So my law
Turn that light on, and it is.
go. Yeah. So my best friend, one of my best friends from law school, got his dream job like 2 years into our profession. He works for the federal public defender's office, and he's an appellate attorney. So he does nothing but brief to the Fifth Circuit and argue in front of them. And he knows all the judges by name. It's a science now. When in the real world, when you get to that level, you hire people because if any of y'all wanted to do a tire case, you could probably do it, but it'd be extremely hard and take you forever to learn all the science. Whereas me, I already even talk about oxidation. There's a lot that goes into rubber and on tires, but I'm never jumping into an arbitration. I know Kyle's done them. I'd call him and tell him to do it. But when you get to that level in the real world, you just pay people that are smarter than you.
So, Will, what do you guys focus on? Well, one of the things, I think Bill brought it up in a prior podcast, and that reminded me, I texted everyone, we need to have Will on. You just had a recent, very, very great result.
Yeah. It was super great result.
Is it confidential?
No, don't use names, but use the.
You can talk in general.
No, I can talk about some things for it for sure. It's 7-figure result for a client that. Super unfortunate event. And, I'm going to go back to, it's not what you know, it's who you know. This is a person who is my cousin's husband's brother. So my family, it's my cousin.
Sure.
But it's, it's not a family relative of mine that I've never met this person in my life. I may have met them once sometime, but they were in this traumatic motorcycle accident, and they're just going to work a normal day on their motorcycle. A car pulls out in front of them, just gets demolished, flies off, doesn't remember anything, and breaks his jaw. His arm was split in half. Obviously there's more injuries besides that, but he starts calling billboard attorneys and starts trying to sign up on,
Like Law Tigers?
I think he might have
work on those. Actually, I used to feel bad.
I'm not. Bill kind of gave me a dirty on that, but I thought I was trying to be funny.
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Okay.
Yeah, but
The billboard attorneys, there's a stigma attached to them, but I'm friends with a lot of them, and they're great people.
Sure.
But their business does do, the justice to people because you give it to them, and then they give you a lawyer that they trust.
Yes, you'll get a good lawyer.
It's a referral, and it costs you nothing extra. So I get both sides of it, but at the same time, like, I wish I had the confidence to go up on a billboard.
Yeah.
yeah, I think one day, like, eventually, like, I will probably be on some advertisement at some point. And I don't mean to disparage those people whatsoever. But he's calling, big name people. He's calling people that you'd recognize all the time, trying to find a solution, and they don't call him back. And so my cousin's husband calls me and sends me the GoFundMe. He's like, my brother's been in a wreck. So what's happened? Please donate to this. And all I texted him was like, man, I hope he's okay. And he was like, can he call you? Because I didn't know what to do. I said, yeah, you can call me all the time. And what I told him,
You're like, I'm currently setting up Hatchett PC. Call me in 20 minutes.
Sorry, Ben.
I would say my naivety, saved me from that. But I was working with Ben. It was like my second week there. And, I got on the phone with the person who got in the wreck. And I just told him, hey, man, like, if you need advice on where to go, I'll give that to you 100%. If you want to go with those firms, I will give that advice to you 100%. I don't care where you go because, like, hindsight, right? I didn't know how much this case was going to be worth. I didn't know the value of it. I didn't know all this stuff. Well, he's hit by, a sedan, and it was a commercial sedan, so it wasn't obvious that. But it was a very big dummy, right? Like,
where did it happen?
It was in Fort Worth.
Okay.
So
The Tarrant?
That's your backyard, baby.
yeah, it was my backyard, and this kid got hit, and he flew over. He had all these injuries, and my cousin, right? My cousin's husband was like, "Can you just call him and talk to him? He has his jaw wired shut right now." And I was like, "Yeah,
Seems like a tough conversation, though.
Well, it's hard for he couldn't get much worse.
Just say I wasn't making fun of him. I'm just saying
He didn't have much to say, so. But I just told him, I was like, you can go with anybody. I don't give a shit who you go with. Like, I will guide you through this whole situation. First and foremost, I hope you feel better, and I want you to heal. But like, if you go with somebody that's a big time law firm, you're going to be a number and you're going to get pumped through. But if you come, do our style of stuff, you're going to be our top priority. We're going to answer your phone call all the time. You have my cell phone number. The whole team is going to know your first name. Your whole case is going to be handled with the utmost respect.
Right.
And I'm not doubting that would be done anywhere else. Absolutely. But it was not my intention to ever sign this person as a client, ever. It was just, hey, these are the things that you're looking down the barrel. Like, you're gonna be part of the machine. And you're going to get pumped out. They might get you more money and they might do it faster. But, like, you cannot call them at the end of the night and say, hey, I need to talk about how I feel. Because that's what you can do with me. That's what you can do with Ben. And that's what you can do with our law firm is call us and say, I'm stressed out right now because I can't work. I'm scared to throw up because my jaw is wired shut. And so I'll answer that phone call for you. So luckily he chose to come with us. And Ben guided me through that whole process. Like, I don't know what to do. We had Kate Hoffman come on and like do all sorts of stuff for us and do such a phenomenal job. And if you have any sort of personal injury,
Is that a life care planner?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, use her 100%.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that and call it Smart Reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's my plug for Smart Reviews, but it's not a plug. Like, they do a phenomenal job. Like, I heard from the client firsthand, like, these people call me, they check on me, and they care how I feel. They're asking me how I'm doing, and they're putting together this formula basically that can elevate his damages to a point where he can make a maximum recovery.
And you would say appraise his damages.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So what Smart Reviews does, and we'll hit it on the point. It's exact. So from our perspective, yeah, they increase the value of the case, but they do that because they educate the lawyers on what these medical records actually mean and say.
Absolutely.
Like, if you've got a person that's got a 2-level fusion, in the near future, they're going to need levels, the one level above and below, to also go in. So that if your life care planner doesn't have that or doesn't do a lot of spine work, that needs to be added in. I mean, they are invaluable to what we do. And I didn't meet them until 2021. And I thought I was a pretty damn good lawyer at that time. And then within a year, I realized I was not a very good lawyer until I'm so much better.
No, there's just a lot of, there's just experience.
Well, I just didn't care about the damages because I didn't understand them. And it's when you, from the lawyer's perspective, to like see all these terms and have to Google all this stuff and you don't know what it is and your paralegals don't either. I mean, they are turnkey. They will give you set it up. They get the records. They do the medical chronology. They give you your outlines, portions of outlines that you need for certain experts. I mean, they are amazing.
Did they do fact sheets too?
Yep.
I thought you talked about them in the context of
fact sheets. On the Massport side, they crank out fact sheets. Their records company is faster and better than anyone we've used. They're great.
And they do a life care plan, and they do these demand letters like we see ads. I get all these ads on.
They don't do the life care planning. They will tell
rejection.
They'll find someone.
They will take your life care plan and make sure that it conforms with everything that your person may have. They're fantastic at what they do.
And they'll help you write demands.
They'll write my damages. They will write you will copy and paste that damages section in there because they'll write it in a way that actually shows what your client's going through.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're great.
Smart reviews.
And that's
smart reviews.
Just call me. If you have a case that's big that you need them for, just call me and you can refer it to me and I'll get them on board.
But no, that's what Kate Hoffman and the Smart Reviews did for my client is they contacted them constantly. And they were up to date. They would send us a spreadsheet that was just immaculate on, this is what you need to look for. These are these, red flags that they may be experiencing. This is what you need to send them to do. And so they really guided the treatment for that. And so, I had my hand held the whole time. So, I lucked into having a client that had a high value case, but it was just because of who I knew. But also who I knew got the right treatment for everybody. And it got the best result for him, for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
And that wrapped up how long ago?
A week ago?
Probably November. So it was, he got in the wreck end of October. He had to watch his family eat Thanksgiving with his jaw wired shut in November, and our mediation was the week before Thanksgiving.
So it was a year later?
A year later, and it was just like it was so sentimental to him. And he is probably the most thankful person I've ever met in my life. He did not complain about anything. He, went through all of this stuff with the greatest spirit ever. It's the perfect client you could ever have. But it wrapped up at the perfect time, and he got to go back to Thanksgiving, resolve this case.
What branch of the military did he serve in?
He did not.
Doesn't sound like the perfect client.
Yeah. So, but he is a great motorcycle mechanic, and he can get you.
Nice. I need one actually from a bike.
He's legit.
Well, he's in Fort Worth, though.
He's in Fort Worth.
Well, there's a value to turning a case quickly because that's one thing that I know a lot of plaintiffs get frustrated with is it takes forever.
Sure.
And you guys pressed it to get it to the top of the kind of the priority list for the other side. Right. So that to me has as much value as the money that you recovered because as y'all know, and I used to, and I see it now, it's stressful on individual plaintiffs to go through litigation.
Yeah, we could have filed it and pushed it out for another 2 years because it made more sense for us, but that's not what our law firm is about.
Sometimes you have to do that depending on the damages.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But if you got something like that,
yeah. Here,
throttle.
And we were so transparent with them. Like, it made more sense to do this right now than to file this case and drag it out. Like, we're not in the business of taking a fee from you. We're in the business of getting you the best result we can.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
So Ben recently left town.
Yeah.
He had a little vacation.
Always.
And I want to tell you about the level of customer service Ben brings to the job.
Let's hear it.
Ben had offered to sell me some Girl Scout cookies.
He's, I've heard that same pitch.
And I bought a lot of them. But the delivery date, the first day he could deliver these cookies was while he was out of town.
It's strategic.
Where was he? South America?
I don't remember where.
Does he go to South America a lot?
His wife is
Just
from
California a lot.
Yeah, his wife has a job that involves. She's like general counsel for a big construction company.
Big time.
Yeah, so she goes down to South America a lot.
So Ben called me because he's an upfront kind of dude.
Yeah.
Explained that I was not going to get these Girl Scout cookies at the earliest possible date.
Yeah.
And could he deliver them later? And I said, look, no, you can't. I need these. Right.
I planned a party around this delivery.
Yeah.
I need the Thin Mints now.
I've got 19 people coming.
The Samoas. I need the pita. I need the tag-alongs.
Samoas, isn't that the one with the coconut?
Yeah, I love them. I'll freeze them.
Can't do this coconut.
And no accounting for bad taste. So I said, no, Ben, I'm undoing the deal, right? I want my cash back. And he said, Hal, you haven't paid me yet. And I was like, Ben,
There's no cash back.
That's even better.
when you in town? And he said, I'm leaving town like day after tomorrow. And I was like, well, I'll be here waiting. And he hung up, and then he called me back, and he said, look, I've just spoken to my wife about it. She's the head of the troop, and it breaks Girl Scout bylaws to deliver them in advance of a certain date. And I said, what if, Ben, I promise not to eat them,
It's a fair promise.
or put them on...
Which would be a total lie, but at least he could feel good about it.
Promise is a different thing
Yeah.
than why, but
So Ben, being the stand-up guy that he is, he was working out over here because he goes to a gym right here, and he showed up in my office pouring sweat, and he knocked on the door, and he said, take your cookies, you jackal. And I said...
with a full mouth, you said.
As I
Oh, two-handed it? Oh, come on, Kyle.
a Thin Mints like a rattlesnake down my gullet, I said, enjoy your vacation with a mouthful of Thin Mints.
Right.
And his daughters were saved being shot.
Yeah, Kyle had a paintball gun in the other hand.
He had double-handed paintball. He's like, show me the cookies.
Yeah.
Show me the cookies. Just
Tony Montana and these 11-year-old girls.
Put the cookies down, kick them across the... Yeah. And then I wadded up balls of cash. And
Right.
When you said Ben was at the gym, I thought you were going to try to convince us that you were like, so obviously I was there too, and we went there. I was like, the only person that goes to the gym in this situation is probably everybody not on camera.
I saw
So that 100%.
I saw Judge Bo Miller out earlier this week, or maybe in last week, and he's in a sling.
oh,
And I said, hey, Judge, what happened to your arm? And he said, well, I was doing my max bench military press.
He's a big guy.
And he did this.
With Taurus Pep.
I don't know what I said. He's in a thing like this. And I said, well, I tore my rotator cuff once. And he was like, how'd you do that? I was like, also doing my personal best.
Yeah, also.
Military press. And he was like, I didn't know you worked out, Kyle. It's like, shut up, Bo Miller.
Judge Miller. Objection.
Shut up, Judge Miller, you big jerk.
I don't know when this is going to air, but if it's before the election, obviously we have some judge races coming.
Oh yeah, Bill Miller's fantastic.
I'm not sure if is he up this
I don't think so. I haven't heard his
Okay,
name.
he's great. Let's just say I'm not going to knock anyone. I'm just going to tell you who I think are good judges that are, I think, in the race.
Ravi.
Mike Englehart.
Mike Englehart at the top. Ravi.
Sandhill.
Kyle Carter.
Kyle Carter. Who else? Bob Schaefer.
Schaefer's great.
I don't know who else is. Brittany Morris just had a fundraiser, so I don't know if has a person, a competitor or not. But there's a lot of judicial races that probably, even though the Chronicle took a lot of flack in our last interview, typically they're pretty good on the judicial races.
So the difference and Peter's talking about the interview with Kim Ogg, and for the first time ever, the Chronicle posted video clips of her and Sean Tier in a room, almost in like a debate style setting. And the issue I have with it is there's nowhere I can go to go watch the whole thing. It's short clips of certain questions, and I want to. Anytime I see that, I was like, I want to see the whole thing. Because and honestly, as much as Kim is in the public eye from a name, when was the last time you saw her in an interview? You don't hear a lot. Yeah, right. Other than sitting down with her today, that's the most I've heard. Yeah. I mean, there's just not a lot of opportunities for judges, district attorneys, and certain politician levels that they don't have a platform like the Dirty Verdict, as crazy as that sounds. It's probably why they keep coming on. Like, dude, we've booked some crazy guests. And so, yeah, that was I think her issue is one, she has had a run on some negative stories on her office, but two, that whole situation where they showed almost like a debate style, but they didn't show the whole thing, and then endorsed Sean Tier, who I loved Sean.
Yeah,
as much as anybody. He was great as well. It's a tough race there.
Yeah, very, both very qualified, and it's just kind of a difference of opinion. But
usually they always come out with we endorse this, and this, and I always agree with their picks.
I think there's enough information out there for people to decide what they want to do on that race. But the judges, no one knows who's good. And typically, I think the Chronicle that probably follows the lawyers who vote, kind of, is the HBA or the bar.
The ones that are going to swing it one way or the other.
That's probably the best source for the general public who's not a trial lawyer.
Or listening to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can go to the HBA bar poll, you can go to the League of Women Voters. They usually do one that's pretty unbiased. The Houston Chronicle. These are all, if you are, I really wish more people would vote. And
Yeah, I mean, if you're not an attorney, right, like you're not going to know too much about Harris County and the politics and that of like who you want to be into it as a judge.
I forgot one. Nicole Purdue.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and y'all have had someone on here recently, and Nicole Purdue, who, like is making a great run. That I mean, everyone should endorse these people, but how are they going to know about that?
Well, the problem with endorsing in a primary is that primary opponent might lose.
Yeah.
And then you got a civil judge for the next 4 years that you did not endorse.
Yeah.
that's why the dirty verdict does not officially endorse anyone.
He just endorsed like a raise.
We say who we support, but we don't endorse. That's a
What's the
code word.
difference?
That's a code word.
Yeah, that's a great way. Yeah, I like that.
They'll never figure it out, Peter.
Yeah.
They'll never figure it out.
No, we might be able to get next week. We might be able to squeeze in like Ravi and Carter and a couple. It'd be cool to have a couple of them on at the same time.
Actually, important people.
Like people that actually impact the community.
People,
Right.
You would be shocked. You would be stunned by the important people that have been in the dirty verdict.
Will's sitting there waiting for us to finish up with the district attorney of the second most populated county in the country. Will's like, don't worry, she's my opener. Like, I mean, he was just sitting there patiently waiting.
So, Will, circling back up to you.
That would have been fun if you should have wanted him and like, hey,
You not done yet?
hey, Kim, thanks for keeping my seat warm.
Yeah, Kim.
Bring you the lefty. Come on. You're out.
Maybe throw it my left.
Yeah. Kim's never even put on shin guards.
Okay, Will.
I will say she didn't know who I was in there, and she
She didn't know who we were either.
Yeah, she didn't know me.
Yeah.
she thought I was like sweeping up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To be fair, if you're not watching this on YouTube, I mean, you could be technically confused for a judge.
If you put your mind to it, you could probably sweep up better than anybody else in this building.
with a janitor all the time.
Yeah.
But no, I was telling everyone earlier, it's like I've never felt so self-conscious about a podcast.
This?
Yeah, I'm underdressed for a podcast. Can you believe
We had to dress that.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
you were?
We dressed up for our last guest.
I'm be totally honest. I've had a traumatic brain injury for like 3 years.
Call Ben Roberts. We'll get you done.
Call Ben Roberts Law Firm.
Barely,
Always closing.
I'm barely functional. I eat paste nonstop.
Flinty's good.
Kyle usually wears the
Sticky.
he wears the outfit of Alan from the first Hangover, and he wears like the sweater with the
I'm going to be
Christmas sweater with.
really transparent here. And so today I did zero work whatsoever. I just watched all of Dirty Podcast reruns.
Good.
And
Who was your favorite?
Ben's yelling down the hall, and he's like, "When are you going to turn this in?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute,
Turn it in. I got to catch my flight to vacation.
I
Yeah.
got to figure out what they're wearing."
No, yeah.
Some of the
You're like
Tommy John was wearing
Kyle's a vest guy for most of the, but we had the DA.
Heard before you were part of it.
Right. Well, he's vested a couple times.
Swan also comes on here full suit.
Oh yeah.
All up.
Who did?
Also, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And boy, I mean,
Kim Kiram had like a great suit on that was perfect.
well, also it's just got that pretty face. Metzger's putting his finger in my mouth. Like, yeah, you had a lot. I mean, I could see why you were so nervous.
So hold on. Did you watch the Washington Ho one?
Where we got stoned.
Watch the Washington Ho reality series, absolutely.
But so now that you brought that up, Kyle, I just want to point out because we haven't talked about this.
Talked about on a reality show.
We haven't talked. Dude, you're a TV star.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Don.
Reality TV.
Yeah, and first,
You're on Don Worley's. What's it called? No.
Yeah, you're our second star.
What is
But
Don?
you also didn't bring drugs.
we haven't.
Technically, there's not drugs. They're called Sunday sippers.
Except for Washington Ho. Now. So this is the funny thing, real quick.
Yeah.
So Washington Ho brings us his Ho Buzz drinks.
I also love the reality show.
On the back of it, it says, under no circumstances should you ever consume more than one Ho Buzz in any sitting, and never two in any more than like a 72-hour period.
Kyle and I didn't read until our fourth one. We were dehydrated when we started.
And Washington Ho is making these ridiculous puns, and we're like we're staring at the ceiling.
No, my favorite part of that episode is Washington Ho is like, yeah, and if you do that, and you allow me to film, I will show up at your door and give it to you.
Get
And
your
then
first Ho.
Kyle just out of nowhere goes, fantastic marketing. He's just so excited. And I lost it. I lost it.
Washington Ho looks at me and he goes,
Fantastic marketing.
I like you. I like your coat.
I like your jacket.
I like your whole look. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
What was going on? That was a super fun episode.
Okay, Will, you were on a reality show, and it was Don Worley's, what's it called?
Yeah, Don Worley, Power of Attorney.
Yeah, okay. So you can find that on.
What's it on?
Because I downloaded
It's on Tubi right now.
Tubi.
My season, the only season that counts.
Oh, that's fair.
So I think
You win?
No.
Is it a competition? Is there winners?
No, it's just like a. Yeah.
Come on, Kyle, you're confusing our listeners.
Yeah, listeners are going to think I'm a terrible attorney. Also, if they watch the reality show, they'll think that I'm a defense attorney. But so the premise is that, you go on the show, and it's Don's guys that are defense attorneys to, like, basically throw a cog in the wheel of what's going on. And so, I have a grander scheme of all this. Like, at that point, like, if we want to go down this road of, like, metaphoric and, like, all sorts of stuff, I'll do it, and then he can edit it out. But, like, I'm in a mock trial tournament, coaching it. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, believe it or not, like, my hometown, coaching these advocates on what to do, and I get a text message on my phone, and it says, "What are you doing Monday?" from my boss, and I'm like, "I'm working." What do you think I'm doing? It says, "You want to go to Vegas to film this show?" And my first reaction is no. My gut reaction on that, spontaneous text is like, no, I don't.
This is a trap.
Yes, like it's a trap. But then, like, I'm going to get so transparent with you that, like, in my mind, I thought I was going to be on this show with my boss, and it would be promoting us and me and my skills and all that. But I would be in shape. I would look good. I thought I would be prepared, all that stuff, but
That's why we haven't done Naked and Afraid yet.
well, no, that's my
Because he's not prepared and I'm not in shape.
right. But we're all naked and
Kyle's got M's.
but so he's texting me these things, and these things are running through my mind of like, I'm not prepared to do this. Like, this wasn't how I envisioned this opportunity.
It's called being a pawn.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's like it was not coming to me when I thought that I would have this opportunity.
You thought you were going to be the star?
No,
You thought you were being human.
You thought you were the Khloe Kardashian of this reality show?
it's a little woman. Yeah, I think of it.
You were getting ready to marry Lamar Odom?
No, I thought I was going to take some drugs and be Lamar Odom, but
Those aren't drugs. They were gas station male vitality pills.
But no, I mean, it's just kind of my point of, like, you don't know what you're saying no to if you turn down an opportunity, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was sitting there and I was like, I don't want to do this because I'm out of shape. Like, I don't feel like I'm prepared. I don't know what's going on. And you just wanted to fly out to Vegas tonight and do this thing. And
They filmed it in Vegas?
yeah, so I'm in Fort Worth doing this mock trial thing, what we talked about earlier, just trying to be a good guy for these kids. And then I get a text like, you're going to be on TV tomorrow. And, like,
Wear your lucky suit.
I'm freaking out. Like, I'm freaking out. And because I'm like, dude, I'm too fat for this. I don't look good.
You just have to wear vertical stripes. I do it all the time.
No, I'm not being serious with you. Like, these are the things that are going through my head, the doubt of, can I accomplish this, like, TV thing?
Have you ever seen real lawyers? Yeah, 99% of them are fat as hell.
Count me in.
You're fine. You're not fat.
No, listen, like,
If you want to feel handsome as shit,
Stand next to Kyle's hair.
do that. No, if you want to feel really physically attractive, go to the bankruptcy courthouse.
Oh, dude, you will crush.
Watch those.
I'm there as a client.
If you're a male lawyer and you're not in bankruptcy, you don't need to do Tinder or Bumble. Go to the bankruptcy courthouse.
I mean, not only are they
so Will,
physically attractive, they're not trying anymore.
Will, you go out there that you say, you know what? I'm not handsome enough. I'm not good enough, but God gone it. I'm going to give it a shot.
You suited up and you went.
No, so I had a suit from traveling in mock trial, like from this thing, and so I had read somewhere that when you turn down an opportunity, you don't actually know what you're turning down, and so I thought about that genuinely in my mind. I was like, man, if I say no because I'm scared of this, I have no idea. I should just do this because in 5 months I won't regret that. In 3 years I won't think about how bad I looked or all that stuff. And that carries on to everything I do now. Like, if it doesn't matter to you in 3 months from now, then like, who gives a shit? Just do it. So I went out and did it, and I did it all in one fucking take. I did this whole fucking reality show in one take from mock trial that fucking Bill Ogden's, chastised me on, right?
That's why I'm hard on him. Because I knew one day he's going to be on a reality show.
Right, but it all comes full circle. I do this thing in one take. And I'm fully expecting, them to be like, cut, do it again, or cut, do this, or whatever. And I just a whole presentation. And the opposing counsel who they have is a real attorney, and they're like action. He goes, what did I say? And he goes, I don't know. Like, you're the attorney.
Lawyer words.
Yeah.
Do some stuff.
Well, I don't have a script. And they were like, well, he didn't have a script. And so it took like hours, 3-4 hours to get through this other side of the case. And so after that all gets done, this guy comes up to me and he says, how many cases have you trialed? It's got to be like 10 or whatever. And I was like, dude, it's 0.
You hadn't taken one to verdict yet?
Yeah. And he was like, well, you could have fooled me.
You're welcome, Will.
This guy...
I reared you into this.
Has sent me 10 cases now.
Really?
Good.
Yeah. Nah, good for you, dude.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're saying no to.
You're saying no to money.
Yes.
Even bad press is press.
Well, I mean, and that's the deal, is like you don't know what you're saying no to. And if someone asks you to step up, just do it. Like if you're scared to go to trial, just go.
Kyle, dance right now. Step up.
But you never know how much that'll come.
Great points, Will. And so, as we wrap up, I want to thank you for taking a leap of faith to come join us.
Yeah, you're dumb for taking this invite.
On the
you too fat.
No, and Will originated the Will's 7-figure verdict or settlement. He originated, which means
I heard. Yeah, I picked that,
which means he's paying for dinner.
Yeah. So, as far as any kind of fatness, we've got Chaos Digital. These cameras.
There's nothing fat about that Navy SEAL.
You probably came in today. You're like, damn, those guys are a lot fatter than they look like on YouTube.
Yeah, we have these like weird the mirrors that make you
I actually in real life look like Bette Midler from Beaches.
I can't believe, Bill, you're with Pete and Beth. And
So we're going to wrap up this edition of the Dirty Verdict podcast. Will Hatchett, the Texas Hatchet. You can find him at, is it BenjaminRoberts.com?
Yeah, BenjaminRobertsLaw.com.
Okay.
And
great firm. If you're not going to hire me and you're not going to hire Kyle, I'll hire Will.
You can't hire the best, and you want maybe the second best. Or let's like easy, the third best.
And we have Girl Scout cookies.
And front door delivery Girl Scout cookies.
Kyle doesn't have them. They went down his throat quick.
They're gone.
No.
All right. Well, thank you all very much, and we will see you next week. We will cut out for the night. Good night.
Adios.
Okay.